The evaluations recorded. I was diagnosed with a secondary melanoma in 2004. Now, you probably don't think there's anything funny about that, and you'd be right. However, tonight I thought that I would share with you some funny incidents that help lighten the seriousness of the situation. A month or so after the initial diagnosis, I went in for a fine needle biopsy on a growth on my adrenal gland. This procedure involved a local anesthetic and a shot of pethidine. Now, pethidine is wonderful, wonderful stuff. So they put the local anesthetic in, they gave me a shot of pethidine, but before they gave me the shot of pethidine, they said, "We want you to tell us if you can feel the needle going in, and if you do, we'll give you another shot of pethidine." So they gave me the first shot, they put the fine needle into the biopsy. I could feel it going in, so I said to the doctor, "I can feel it going in." And so he gave me a second shot of pethidine. Now, pethidine, it makes you as high as a kite. Now, probably not such a smart idea was that we had made plans to have afternoon tea with a friend of mine that afternoon. Now, you have to forgive me here because I'm a little bit hazy about what actually happened. But Mom tells me that I tried to start the same conversation about 6 times. Later on, I was in hospital for my first operation. I was operated on a Monday and I was discharged from hospital the following Monday. On the weekend that I was in hospital, there happened to be a cricket test being played. Now, if you love cricket like I do, I can tell you there's no better way to pass the time in a hospital bed than watching a cricket. I was in a room with 3 other guys and all of us had the cricket on our TVs. We had a female nurse and she came in and it took her a while to realise that we were all watching the same thing. She couldn't understand what it was that we were all so engrossed in. And then it clicked that we were watching the cricket. She said, "How can you watch something that's so boring?" She said, "It's like watching grass grow." She said, "I prefer the faster, flashier formats like 2020. And of course at that point, the other 3 guys and myself voiced our own opinions that the only real cricket is Test cricket. Something else that occurred during that time was obviously I had people visiting me all the time. I had Mum and Lisa visiting me. And of course, as I said, I had the cricket going. They were a bit annoyed that I had the cricket on whilst they were there and they were trying to talk to me. So we arrived at a compromise. I left the picture on, but I turned the sound off. This operation took place towards the end of November. A few weeks after that, I went in, just before Christmas, to have the staples, yes, staples, removed from my surgical wound. I'll just show you, the scar starts here, and goes all the way down inside my leg. I'm not going to show you that.
Thank you.
Upon removing the dressing, the nurse discovered that I had developed a blood clot. After much discussion and debate as to the best way to treat it, a phone call was made to the surgeon who had done the operation. And he agreed with the nurse that I should be admitted and put on IV antibiotics. But, due to everyone else's reluctance to put me in hospital for Christmas, a decision was made to call Professor Thompson, the head of the oncology department at RPA, and the doctor that I saw when I first went there. He took one look at the wound and decided to cut it out right there and then. 1 minute later, I'm lying on the hospital bed. I've got Mum holding me down at this end. I've got the nurse holding me down at this end. And Professor Thompson pulls out the surgical scissors and right into my leg. No anaesthetic, no nothing. I mentioned earlier how I had Mum and Liesl visiting me every day. On one such occasion, Liesl took one look at me and said, "There's something wrong with my eyes." I chose not to be insulted by that. I was discharged the next day, and that's when things got even worse. Liesl had made an appointment to see the optometrist. and drove herself down to Manly for that appointment. Meanwhile, Mum was looking after me at home. As you can all see, I wear a compression stocking on my left leg, which is as a result of a lymphedema that was resulted from the surgery. And at that point in time, I was obviously unable to put the stocking on all by myself due to the pain. So Mum had to help me. Mum was cleaning the shower recess when the phone rang. It was Liesl. She'd been told to go straight away to the Sydney Eye Hospital on Macquarie Street as soon as she could. Mum jumped out of the shower, got dressed in a flash, and was all ready to go. And then she realised I didn't have my stocking on. So she started trying to pull it up, trying to get it on. And in the end, with a little bit of help from me, and I suppose working together, we finally got the stocking on. And then Mum made a quick phone call to arrange transport because, like I said, Liesl had the car. Our friend Beth came over to watch me, and her daughter Becca drove Mum down to Manly to pick up Liesl. It turns out that it wasn't the sight of me in that hospital bed that made it. You know, a detached retina.
Oh.
My experiences fighting this awful disease haven't all been a walk in the park. But I think these stories show that even when fighting cancer, there are still those funny moments that make the experience that tiny bit easier to handle. Madam Toastmaster.